This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 50th anniversary of the Knicks' 1973 championship team, the current New York Knicks blow out the New Orleans Pelicans, ladies and gentlemen, for a beautiful Knicks night and a beautiful 2 days of New York Knicks basketball. The Knicks moved to 8 games above 500. They beat the Pelicans 128-106. And they led wire to wire. You know, not that much competition from the Pelicans tonight, to be honest with you. Contributions all the way around from the New York Knicks, folks. From Julius Randle on down to, I don't know, Obi Toppin, I guess. He had 3 points and 2 rebounds, Obi Toppin. You know, but contributions all over the board, man. Really good game from the Knicks. And, they're going to be looking to make a statement game in the next game. But I'm satisfied with what I've seen tonight as they move to 8 games above 500. They gain more ground on the Brooklyn Nets. The Miami Heat lost tonight as well. You know what I mean? So just a good night all around. Tony, what's popping with you, man? How you feeling?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling good. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black, it's time. Sim, what was the score at halftime?
The Knicks had 73. I don't remember what the Pelicans had, but I know the Knicks had 73 points.
50, 73. 50th year anniversary, the 73 championship.
There you go. 50th year anniversary, the 1973 champions. Numbers don't lie.
I'm telling you, Sim, something's in the air in New York right now. I'm telling you, Sim, it feel a little different right now. The team feel a little different. Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's been so good. I'm ready to talk about the next game, but you know what I mean? We got to go through the numbers.
Right, we got to go through it, We got to go through it. So the Knicks right now, ladies and gentlemen, are just a half a game behind the Brooklyn Nets. They're 2.5 games above the Miami Heat and a half game behind the Nets. The Nets are 34-25. The Knicks are now 35-27. And they are just 2.5 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what I mean? But beautiful game for the Knicks tonight. Led in scoring by Julius Randle, 28 points, 7 rebounds for Julius Randle. Shot 55% from the field. He shot 50% from 3, 5 for 10 from the three-point line for Julius Randle tonight. Another great night. I mean, at 46 last night, comes back and has 28 tonight on good shooting, from Julius Randle. And listen, he made the All-Star team. At some point, I believe I seen him at 10th on the list in MVP voting. Tony, how close? I mean, is Julius Randle a legitimate MVP candidate? That's what I want to ask you. Do you think?
I mean, I think so. I think so. I don't expect him to win it, but the fact that, put it like this, he was in that conversation 2 years ago. He's playing better than he played 2 years ago.
Right.
So I don't see why he shouldn't be even closer on the list. I think that you said he was what, 10th, 9th?
One of the lists that they had, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, this year.
For this year.
I think he was ninth 2 years ago. He was on the list 2 years ago.
Right.
So
and this is, I don't know if this list is, I don't know if there's any votes for this list, is something that was on NBA.com or, one of these publications and had Julius Randle as, the 10th. He had just gotten into, the rankings. He has to be moving up the rankings at this point because that was a while ago. You know what I mean? He's having an amazing season and he's doing it night in and night out. You know what I mean?
And some of them passes from Randall, you know what I mean? He's been doing it all year, even though his assist numbers are down. I feel like his passing has been more accurate, more on point. So whether it's the shooter didn't make the shot or whatever the case, his assist is down. I feel like his passing has been a lot more accurate. He's still throwing them speed balls, but other than that, you know what I mean? Like he's been showing me some impressive passes behind the back, seeing things that he normally wouldn't have seen.
Yeah. And let me see. Right now, the top 5, and this was just at the All-Star break. Obviously, you got Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and Luka. That's the top 5. And then the next 5, at 6 is Kevin Durant, 7, Julius Randle, 8, Ja Morant, number 9, SGA, and then at 10, Domantas Sabonis. You know what I mean? He's playing that. He's legitimately in the MVP race, man. And he's having a legit kind of season. Let me ask you this. Forget about MVP stuff.
There we go. Because that's where I was going. But
what?
Go ahead.
What was you going to say?
I mean, we talking about in the MVP conversation 2 out of 3 years. Is he that star? Is he that guy?
Well, I was just gonna ask for this year, is he all NBA?
Okay.
I was gonna ask because he made all NBA second team or third team 2 years ago? I forgot what it was. Is he an all NBA player this year? You know what I mean? And if he ends up being an all NBA player, that's gonna be 2 out of the last 3 years that he was an all NBA player.
And again, that brings up the same question.
It does. It does. It brings up the same question. I think there's still more work for him to do to be in that conversation as that guy, I think. You know what I mean?
Ultimately,
being more clutch.
it has to be, and not just now, but in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
like that's going to be the ultimate determination,
right?
Or the determining factor,
right?
You know what I mean? But
right,
he looks different.
Yeah, but look, being clutch, playoffs, like you said, I think continuing to refine his game and slow the game down in his head some more. I think it's going to take those type of things for him to elevate himself to that status. But, man, is he, right with the way he's playing right now? He's on the cusp. He's on the cusp. No two ways about it. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at him play, it's like he knows he can do this almost every night that he steps out there on the floor. Playing with that kind of confidence.
Not like he's making it look easy. He's making it look like if you look at his mannerisms, he looks like he knows nobody can stop him.
Right.
He knows nobody could guard him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, great game for Julius Randle, getting 28.7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's moving up the MVP ladder. He's moving up the all-time Knick ladder, since, we had a bunch of all-time Knick greats in the building tonight. He's moving up. He's moving up that ladder too. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett tonight, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Shot the ball well from the field, 61.5% from the field. Only 13 shots for RJ Barrett. He was 4 for 7 from the three-point line tonight, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And let me ask you this about RJ. I think I seen Andy say it in our group chat. RJ plays better with less shot attempts. something to the effect that he says, offensively, that he said offensively. You know what I mean? And, you look at it last night, he shot 50%, 14 shot attempts. Tonight, he shoots 61.5% on 13 shot attempts. Do you think there's something to that?
I mean, not only do I think it's something, I think it's more about the efficiency. I think the efficiency has more to do with his lowered shot attempts than other way around.
Okay.
But this is what I've been waiting for from him. I was hoping this is what we was going to see all year. I knew the shot attempts was going to go down just from bringing in Brunson and just the naturation of things. But I hope the efficiency would keep him in that 20-point scoring range. And I think tonight was a great night for RJ. Led the team, led us in assists, you know what I mean? 7 assists. Career high?
He had 7 assists tonight. Is it a career?
Definitely
I'm not sure.
Season high.
Okay. I the only way that I would say that there's something to it is, first of all, I'd have to go back and just look at the numbers, look at his shot attempts, and his percentages with shot attempts around the 13-14 range to see if there's something to it. But just off of speaking, if a player knows that they're only going to get so many shot attempts, maybe they're more focused and more deliberate in their shot attempts and understanding, you know what, I'm not going to shoot this one because this one is kind of wild, but I'm going to shoot this one because this is a good attempt. You know what I mean? And maybe we're looking too much into it. I don't know.
And it could go both ways because let's say you're not looking at it as shot attempts, but you're looking at it as playing time. Mm-hmm. You may try to rush shot attempts, get more time. You know what
some
I mean?
People might,
so,
right?
So it could go either way, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, I think it has to go the other way around. I think when he's shooting well, he's not going to be taking. He's not a heat check guy anyway. You know what I mean? Like you rarely see him hot and then take a bad shot because he's feeling it.
Right.
Usually, when he's taking a bad shot or that many attempts, it's because he's not shooting well. I mean, that's just the way
he's trying to force himself into it. And it should be reversed, though. If you're not shooting well, you're like, okay, let me slow down and make sure I'm getting the right shot attempts. Let me focus on my form. Let me focus on technique. Make sure I'm getting the right shot attempts. And when you're shooting well,
and there's times he does that as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he's not shooting well, and now he limits himself. I'm gonna take like good shots. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna take any more threes. He's done that as well. I think he's just a work in progress.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
but and then when you're shooting hot though, obviously you take more attempts because you're shooting the ball well. But I can understand, like, when you're shooting the ball well, you're not as worried, so then you're a little bit more relaxed. But hopefully this is the start of, because this is what you need from RJ. 25 points, 7 assists. He's not always going to shoot 61.5% from the field. I'm happy if he's shooting 46 to 47% from the field. You know what I mean? That's what I would really like RJ to shoot, somewhere around there. And then if he's shooting, 38% from 3, those are good numbers. 47% from the field, 38% from 3. If he ended up being that kind of a scorer, those would be great numbers, I think, for RJ Barrett. But, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can continue to play like this. And this is what I think people were looking at. I don't know if they were expecting Randle to have 28 every night, but this type of the type of disparity that you see right now between Jalen Brunson, or you see tonight between Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, is the type of disparity I think people were expecting on the season, right? Brunson with 20 points tonight, 25 for RJ, 28 for Julius. And of course there's going to be nights where it flips around and different guys,
I was just going to say, and it could flip-flop any night.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's going to flip-flop, but this is what the Knicks need from RJ going here on out for the rest of the season. There's going to be a couple of off nights, but if he can give you this production, it's going to be everything for the Knicks going into this final stretch of the season. What is there, 20 games left?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
What were you most impressed by? Because for me, it was the playmaking and reading the defense. I felt like the whole night he only took one bad shot, like one forced, and it was a layup. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he looked at the open man and was like, "Nah, I'm driving," and ended up being a missed shot,
Yeah.
and turnover.
I mean, I
or
think I was most
busted
impressed
mistake.
just by the shot selection. And the ability to help distribute the ball and get it to people, but the shot selection, I guess he normally has good shot selection. He was knocking down his shots, but maybe he was a little bit more decisive in making his moves to the basket. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit quicker off the step. For RJ Barrett tonight. Knocking down his open threes, of course, is always going to help. You know what I mean? It's always going to help. Good game from RJ tonight. Hopefully it continues throughout the season. Of course, Jalen Brunson bounced back, I guess, from the night before in D.C. He only shot 38.5% tonight. What was he, 5 for 13? He was 3 for 7 from the three-point line, 20 points for Jalen Brunson. But, you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's worried about Jalen Brunson. He'll get back. He'll be efficient from the field. I don't think anybody's worried about that. And when you got RJ stepping up and scoring, of course, Julius Randle doing it that way, you can have an off night. He can have an off night, from the field, or 2 off nights from the field. You don't worry about it.
What Mitch end up? What was Mitch numbers tonight? Because I feel like this might have been the most I've seen guys penetrate and then dish to Mitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Drop off to Mitch.
Right.
I've seen at least 3 or 4 times tonight.
Yeah, Mitch had 11 points tonight, 13 rebounds. And that comes
double.
That comes from when you don't have a guy out there, you don't know what you miss until it's not there, right? So when you don't have that guy to dip it off to, all of a sudden you realize it, like, dang, Mitch ain't here to be able to dip this off to and know that he's going to finish. You know what I mean? Now that he's there, it's like, this feels good. Let me dip it off to him.
Even on one of RJ's drives, I feel like when he drove, he knew he was passing it to Mitch, as opposed to you know what I mean? Usually when guys, that's how they turn the ball over. Like they get caught up and then they try to give it to him, as opposed to like RJ knew the defender was gonna slide and he knew he was gonna give it to Mitch, and it ended up connecting beautifully.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was like 3 or 4 plays like that tonight.
Yeah, but that's the chemistry part of it, though. Nothing against Jericho Sims or Isaiah Hartenstein, right? But Mitch has been playing with Randall and RJ for 4 years. You get to know a guy and their tendencies, and you understand, what a player is going to do in a certain situation after you've played with them for a while. You know what I mean?
They call Mitch the senior member.
Yeah,
the oldest tenured Knick. How about that?
Right. So, you know what I mean? That's where the chemistry comes in. That's where the chemistry comes in. 11 points, 13 rebounds, 1 block for Mitchell Robinson tonight. 2 games in a row where he's had a triple-double. I mean, not a triple-double, a double-double. Right? And the Knicks are going to need this from Mitchell Robinson down the stretch as well. They're going to need Mitchell Robinson to continue to be, well, I mean, I don't want to say he's a threat, but the Knicks his teammates got to continue to find him when they're dipping it off. He's got to continue to rebound the way he's doing. The last 2 nights, he's had more defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds. Right? 10 defensive rebounds tonight, 3 offensive rebounds. He's got to continue to do these things, man. Then the Knicks have a lot of pieces right now playing well. And it shows that Mitchell Robinson stayed in shape over the time that he was out because it was a hand injury. He was able to remain in shape, keep his endurance up, and came back ready to play. You know, Vaughn Allen said these guys are really settled into their roles 100%. Right? They've really settled into, they understand what each other does. They understand what their responsibilities are. And you can see each one, working to be, what do they say, a star in your role, be a star in your role. And that's what they're doing out there.
And coming from a Cam guy, this is just proof that fit matters. You know what I mean? Because, Hart came in here and fit seamlessly. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't even really an adjustment period for him. It was just go out there and be myself.
Yep.
And granted, he has history with Brunson. Yes, that helps, but it don't look awkward with nobody else. You know what I mean? If anything, it looks more like he's inspiring people. You know what I mean? Like tonight, the hustle was there all across the board.
Right.
Hustle plays from everybody.
Right. From everybody. And, that kind of play is just infectious, right? You know what I'm saying? You got one guy hustling all over the place. You feel like, I got to do that too. You know what I'm saying? I got to work just as hard, and so you get everybody working hard, hustling. And you better believe too, they was like, we can't lose in front of these legends out here. You know what I'm saying?
Let's put on a show.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got to put on a show for these guys out here. You can't lose we can't lose tonight. Or we at least can't play bad tonight. You know what I mean?
And they probably, if I was a Knick, if I was the 15th guy, you know what I mean, the two-way guy, I'd be picking their brains all night. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be getting all the information, all the techniques, everything all night. So I'm sure they was hearing the stories. Like, that's got to be inspiring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you can't go out there and lay an egg.
Right. You can't. You can't go out there and lay an egg tonight. Talking about, we mentioned Josh Hart. Josh Hart tonight, 15 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 for 6 from the field, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line, 4 for 5, from the free throw line. And I'll say this, though, for as well as RJ played, and obviously this game didn't go, it wasn't a tight game down the stretch, but at the 6-minute mark, at the 5-minute mark, at the 4-minute mark, Josh Hart was in the game. It was Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson. I'm starting to feel like this is Tom Thibodeau's favorite closing lineup. He had him out there on the floor tonight, even though it was a large lead. And in his mind, he's probably, this is my rotation. This is where these guys are going to play. I'm going to put them out here. And then, if we finish this game off, then I can put in everybody else. Right. But I think this is his closing lineup right now. You know what I mean? And it's going to take somebody playing really, really well and being really, really hot to break that closing lineup at this point.
Or one of those two guys, Quickly, Hart, being, I don't want to say abused, but losing the matchup because of their size.
Right. I get that. Yep. At 5 minutes, so let me just correct myself. At 5 minutes and 24 seconds, Quickly came in for RJ. And then that's when you had that lineup on the floor. Right? So he pulled RJ at the point at which it would have been, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's the wrong quarter. Let me get myself right. Anyway, down that stretch, it was that lineup on the floor. We all saw it, right? Brunson came in for RJ at 6:44. Randall came in for Obi at 6:44. Quickly was on the floor. Hart, and Josh Hart was on the floor. Right? So at 6 minutes and 44 seconds, Tom Thibodeau got his closing lineup out there on the floor. And at that time, even at that time, the Knicks were up large. You know what I mean? I think that's his closing lineup, and he's going to rock with it until he needs, something else is happening. Like you said, there's a mismatch on the floor, or somebody is just so hot. Like RJ is so hot. You got to get him in there. You got to keep him on the floor. Other than that, I think that's his closing group. You're muted.
No, I was just saying I agree with you. And can I highlight Mr. Walter White?
Yeah, go ahead.
Over here. He said Tibbs had time to experiment, and he used it. I don't think the closers are locked.
I don't know.
I think he's. Tibbs don't seem like the experiment kind of guy. Like usually a pattern becomes like definitive with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially at this point of the season. So
Right.
I kind of agree.
Because
based off of what, what's going on in that particular game,
right,
it may change.
And like last night was a close game. He wasn't experimenting last night, and that's who closed the game last night. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was experimenting with that group. I think that's the group that he's most comfortable with defensively and offensively. You know what I'm saying? I think he might feel like they bring the best balance defensively and offensively out there on the floor, because you got Brunson and Randall who's going to get you buckets. Quickly can create off the dribble and get you points. You know what I'm saying? But you can also get defense with Quickly. You get defense with Josh Hart, and then you got Mitch out there that can give you defense and rebounding. Obviously, Randall gives you defense, rebounding, scoring. You know what I mean? I think that's his group, man. I think that's his group.
How about this? What do you think about? Because I think Tibbs has shown a couple things. He's come a long way in the sense that the game was a 20-point lead with, I think, 4 minutes left, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes left. He started putting in the subs, right? We haven't even seen that from Tibbs. You know what I mean? He was this shows his trust.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think part of that has to do with him showing that trust earlier in Deuce, right? Him showing that trust earlier in Sims. And now being comfortable in like his the structure, the order, the pecking order, and knowing that, you know what, these guys have played relatively important minutes for me and produced. You know what I mean?
Right.
Deuce, Sims, I trust them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
And you talk about Tibbs's patterns, and tonight, about 4 minutes left, he started to bring in some other players. I think also, that comes with trust too, right? And understanding your team. You know what I mean? Obviously it was a large lead, and you could read the game and say, these guys ain't making a run. They're playing a team that, it was a 20-point game with 4 minutes left. You're playing the Celtics, 20-point lead with 4 minutes left. I guarantee you, he's like, nah, I'm not. We rocking out with my finishing five. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows what the Celtics can do, and he knows who he's putting in the game. But I do think he's garnering more trust in his players, right? He trusts Deuce. Deuce has played some minutes for him. I think he trusts Jericho Sims. He's played some minutes for him. Grimes, he's played some minutes for him. You know what I'm saying? So when you trust guys, even when you're up 25, 30 points, You know what I'm saying? You get a little shaky as a coach. Trust me, I know. When you're putting people in on the floor and you're watching the clock, hoping that it ticks. You know, you get a little nervous, even though you're up big, because we've seen the Knicks lose.
I was gonna say we've seen it already, and we've seen Tibbs put Randall right back in.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've seen him put. You know what I mean? Go not three. Like it could be a 3-point difference from a 20-point lead, and we've seen him. Nope, I'm not even playing around. Like Tibbs, it's a minute and 30 seconds left. But at the same time, we've seen us blow games.
We've seen us blow some games.
32. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like to me, this was a big moment for me for Tibbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because it really showed that trust that he developed.
Yeah.
In Deuce, in Sims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you have guys that have played, think about it. This season, Deuce has started this season. Sims was just the starting center for the Knicks a couple games ago. Quentin Grimes is a starter currently. You know what I'm saying? So when you have 3 guys all the way down the end of your bench, or let's say 2 because Quentin Grimes is a starter, 2 guys all the way down the end of your bench who have played major minutes for you and who have helped you to win some critical basketball games, and they've played some critical minutes for you, you develop that trust in them so that, you're willing and you can put them in a situation and trust that they're going to perform for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's a luxury to have. You know what I mean? That's a big luxury for the Knicks to have. What we can now start to say is a deeper bench. A couple of weeks ago, the bench was struggling. You know what I'm saying? When RJ was out and Mitch was out and all these guys was out, you know what I'm saying? Like the bench was struggling, the bench was scoring 16, 17 points a game or something like that. And it was like, man, we're not as deep as we thought we were going to be. Now the Knicks bench is deeper with the addition of Josh Hart. They've got a deeper, stronger bench that can defend for you. You know what I'm saying? So, the Knicks are looking good and probably feeling good all the way around right now, ladies and gentlemen. And in just a minute, we're going to get to some of the post-game interviews as soon as I get them up here. Not right now, but as soon as I get them up here, we'll get to some of the post-game interviews. But I do want to take some phone calls. 516-362-5212. I want to know what you're thinking about tonight's game. You know what I mean? And how you're feeling about the Knicks right now. And I know that there were some people earlier today that was trying to call in. You weren't able to get in. So, if you're free and available right now, give me a call because I'd like to hear what you're thinking about the Knicks and tonight's game and all that kind of stuff. The Knicks defeat the New Orleans Pelicans 128-106. 54 rebounds from the Knicks. They dominated the glass, 54 rebounds, led by Mitchell Robinson with 13 rebounds. Julius Randle, 7 rebounds, but guys rebounded all the way across the board. All right, 24 assists for the Knicks, 25 for the Pelicans. 1 steal for the Knicks, just 1 steal for the Knicks, 11 steals for the Pelicans, which led to a lot of turnovers for the Knicks. Hopefully, that's something the Knicks are going to have to clean up when they play the Celtics. All right, 7 blocks for the Knicks, 19 turnovers for the Knicks, 7 turnovers for the Pelicans. It's a good thing the Knicks had a 30-point lead since they turned the ball over 19 times tonight. The Knicks shot 51% from the field, 39% from the three-point line. All right, they shot a lot of threes. They made a lot of threes tonight. 82% from the free throw line. The Pelicans actually scored more points in the paint than the Knicks. 46 points in the paint for the Pelicans, 44 for the Knicks. 21 second chance points for the Pelicans. They were missing a lot of shots, so there were more rebounds to go around in that department. 12 second chance points for the Knicks. Both teams with 13 fast break points, ladies and gentlemen. Good win for the New York Knicks. Let me get to this phone call. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, how's it going? This is David.
Hey, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good. Really great to see a great win tonight. I love really like the halftime show. Seeing some of these older time Knicks. I'm only 27. I remember out in Houston, Latrell Sprewell, but that's about as back far as I can go. Wonder if to get your thoughts on growing up, maybe seeing some of these guys and seeing how they play, and maybe some lessons this Knicks team can learn from some of the people who've done it before.
Ah, man, I hope that they've had a chance to talk to some of these guys, right? And, just to learn some of those lessons from before. Guys like LJ that was in the building, Amari Stoudemire in the building, Latrell Sprewell. Our guys would probably relate to them a little bit more than they would relate to the 1973 championship team. Obviously, they can get some experience from them as well. But, our guys would probably, if you're talking about advice, they might relate to them a little bit more. A guy like Sprewell can probably give a lot of advice to Julius Randle, and maybe already has, because, there was one time when Latrell Sprewell was a hated man in the league, because of some of the things that he did. So hope, it would have made sense that Randle and Sprewell had some conversations about how to come back from that. You know what I'm saying? Allen Houston, guys like Quentin Grimes, you know what I mean? Maybe Josh Hart, get some things from Allen Houston as far as just being an outside shooter. All of these guys.
Oh, Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson. I'm just
right. You got LJ in the building. He can obviously give, he's been around the Knicks for a while. You know what I'm saying? So he can give guys good advice about playing in New York. Amari Stoudemire, went through his trouble. So yeah, there's a lot of things that guys, a lot of advice that, our younger players can get from these guys. You know what I'm saying? And the good thing, the Knicks, they keep a lot of people around. You know what I'm saying? So that they can, get that advice from them. And right now, what happened in the past few, I don't want to say the past few years, the last few decades, the Knicks have had just a rotating door of players. You know what I'm saying? So, someone come in and, are they really going to talk to the legends and this and that? Nah, because they may not be here. But right now with this group, like we were talking about earlier, we got a group that's growing up, right? That's growing up together. And they feel like, the foundation of a franchise. And so, yeah, they might take a little bit more heed and more stock into what some of these former Knicks have to say. So it's great for them to be around. David, you there?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to learn for sure. One thing I'm also taking away of when you get thinking back to like this summer where we had a chance to get a guy, like a guy like Mitchell, and just think what that impact could have on this team. Just to take us to that next level. Like maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself here. There's a lot to like of what's going on here, and like you said, the team coming together. But you can't help but think the past, think the future. Can a guy like Zach LaVine really make a big change to this team? I don't know where it needs to be, but it just seems like that slot where you're talking about where quickly he's coming at the end of the game. He's a great player, and I like to see him like come off big off the bench. But I want to see like a real impact player coming in there, who could put a two-way guard, two-way player that can really take this team to start thinking about this championship.
Right. The only thing that I would say about, and I know I was one earlier in the season too that, was talking about Donovan Mitchell and so on and so forth. The only thing I would say is if Donovan Mitchell came over the summer or, whenever they were trying to make the trade for him, I guess over the summer, maybe we don't see this play from Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, right? And maybe it's necessary right now for us to get this type of play from Randle and Brunson, and then a guy comes in.
I gotta love what Brunson's been putting together. I mean, I can't ask anything more from the games that he's putting together and just leading this team.
Right. Nah, I agree with you 100%. So maybe this needed to happen. Maybe it needed to happen this way for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So that we can, these guys can kind of build that chemistry together. Brunson and Randall prove what they're proving right now, and then you bring another guy into the mix, into something that's already stable, into a foundation that's already building. That may end up being the best thing for the Knicks. Hopefully, I mean, it's got to the way it is right now because this is who we have, But it's working out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, instead of saying you getting ahead of yourself, you like getting behind yourself because you thinking about the past. Like we can't even worry about that because we didn't get that guy. Now it's about moving forward.
Yeah.
If the next guy becomes available, let's see if we could still be in that mix.
Right.
You know what I mean? But enjoy the ride and the growth that we witnessing.
Yeah.
Because it's looking special.
Because what we're witnessing now, because I think before, I don't think with the addition of Mitchell, I don't think they were looking at it and saying, this is done. We need more. But now when they see what Randall and Brunson are doing, they may be thinking, if we can get another guy and then fill in a couple of pieces, we're there. You know what I'm saying? We're contending. So,
and no knock on Mitchell, right? Not, but now looking at what these two guys are doing and what the team is looking like collectively, now they may be more specific in the guy they want to bring in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And this is no knock to Mitchell at all. But maybe now they're looking at more size. You know what I mean? Maybe now they're looking at a different type of star.
Right.
Because they're not all built.
Yeah, though I do like the size. I like Mitchell Robinson bringing tonight. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like who knows if Mitchell is even going? You put him on this team, just putting even the gelling aside. Is he going to be enough? Is he the right fit? I definitely hear what you're saying there.
Yeah, no doubt. But David, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the call.
All right, that would be good.
All right. Let's listen in to Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen. I see Blue Hefner. There's always got to be somebody that's going to try to, poo-poo on a Knicks parade. You know what I'm saying? So I see in the chat, he said Tom Thibodeau embarrassed Derrick Rose tonight. I'm assuming because he put him in the game. But the fans were asking for him.
And if anything, D Rose was embarrassed already before playing. And I'm pretty sure Tibbs asked him, you want to go in?
Right.
I'm pretty sure he didn't say, I acquiesce. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? And I think Derrick Rose, just knowing, you know what I'm saying? Just being the professional that he is, understands, you know what? The fans want me to go in. They want to see me. This is what they pay their money for. You know what I mean? And they know that, the fans are calling his name out of love and respect. You embarrass him. Anyway, let's listen to Tom Thibodeau reap some praises on Derrick Rose about his leadership and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Thibodeau.
You guys got out to a very fast start, 42 points in the first quarter, 73 at the half, the way to honor the 73 teams. Why and how important was it to get out to a fast start tonight?
Well, coming off of last night, back-to-back for us, they're sitting here, they're waiting on us. And so we wanted to make sure that we got off to a good start. And I thought our defense got going, and then I thought we created good shots, and we found a good rhythm, particularly with the three.
Tom, we'll just say RJ tonight. He had a
terrific
season-high 7 assists.
Yeah, the playmaking was terrific. All-around play, just read the game really well. Aggressive to start, good rhythm. And then when there was traffic around him, he sprayed it out and created easy shots for us. And when we get our team doing that, we're going to score a lot of points. But I thought his all-around game was floor game great, attacking the rim great, shooting the three great. Just played all around really strong game.
I know it's a small body of work, but what are you learning about Josh Hart so far?
Like what we're seeing, just, does a little bit of everything well. So his defense, his racing the ball up the floor, moving without the ball, guarding multiple positions, getting to loose balls, making tough plays. There's not a stat for how hard you you bust to get back, but there's a lot of bite to him, and it gives our team a lot more toughness, and we need that.
When the fans are chanting for Derek there at the end, do you leave that up to him, or what's going on there at the bench?
Well, obviously I love Derek, so he usually needs some time to ride the bike to go in. So I always see where he obviously wants to play, but he needs a warm-up phase, but he wanted to get in, so we got him in, and Derek's a pro's pro. And I've got great respect for him, and even though he's not playing right now, he's contributing in a major way to our team.
Does that show the appreciation that the fans have and his teammates have for him?
Yeah, I think so. And that's what I love about the city. And, obviously honoring the championship team is great, and to see all those players back here was great for the organization and for our players to see those guys. But the beauty of playing at the Garden, there's no other place like it. And there's a great appreciation for the game. If you make a good basketball play here, it'll be recognized. And also team play is important. If you're unselfish, you play hard, you play smart, that's recognized. And I think they've recognized what Derek has done in the game. And so it was nice to see. But I feel strongly that we have the best fans in the world here.
There's no doubt about that. There's definitely no doubt about that. And I think that, fans also like the fact that Derrick Rose chose to stay, right? He could have accepted a buyout and went to a, championship contending team. But he said, no, I'm with this team right here. I'm going to ride it out right here. You know what I mean?
Sam, you'd be surprised how many fans don't even respect the fact that respect that fact. I was in a chat, not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and Knicks fans was going crazy, like, yo, free Derrick Rose, send him to a contender, this and that. And I'm arguing with these guys, like, if he wants to be here, why like, who are you to be like, send him to a contender? He's content where he is and what he's doing for this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Respect that.
And you heard him, I think it was Walt Clyde Frazier say on the telecast that, he's kind of like, I'm still playing in a league that's, that's like a championship to me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If he wants to be with the Knicks and play his role on the team, which is still an important role, it's cool. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? And we all know that Derrick Rose, if Derrick Rose was getting 20 minutes a game, he can still produce. So to have that guy on the end of your bench that can produce, 20 minutes a game, and maybe he's not producing at the level that we would want him to produce, but he can still produce. Because I know when he was getting some minutes, I didn't think he was producing as much as I was hoping that he would get or produce. But we know that he can still produce. You know what I mean? And so to have that guy on the end of your bench, I think is a luxury. Now, will he still be here next year? We'll see. His contract, he'll make $15 million next year. We'll see how that works out with the Knicks. But, I'm happy to have him still on the team right now, knowing that there's a guy there that, he's been through the fire. He can, he's that vet that can really walk. Clyde Frazier was talking about it today when he was talking about the Pelicans. He was talking about, this is why you need to have a vet on the team so you don't have nights like they had tonight. Or you can avoid as many of them as possible, and Derrick Rose is that vet for the Knicks. So, I'm glad he's still here. Let me get to a caller here. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Caller, you there? Guess we lost.
Yes.
Oh. Man, people got to be ready to jump on. I hung up on my man. He'll call back.
My bad, brother. My bad.
You know, I know they be listening. They're listening in, you know, maybe grabbing a couple of chips. Here he goes. He's calling back right now. My man, you there? Hello, are you there?
Yes, him.
Yeah, what's going
How's it
on
going?
with you, brother? How you feeling?
Doing good. How you doing, Tony? Hey, I was just
Peace,
calling
King.
because, you know, this is D down in North Carolina, but I was just calling. To me, it was a great game. You know, I was glad to see what happened with Derrick Rose, but there was one thing that I felt, me personally anyway, that got me upset, that they didn't invite Melo to be with them when they invited Stat. To
Oh
me,
yeah,
that's just me, though.
I was looking at. I agree with you. I agree with you. You mean when they were calling out players and Stat came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
He was there. Melo
You
was
know,
there.
and
I don't know if Melo was there,
no,
but I don't know. Maybe he
he
wasn't
wasn't
invited.
there, but yeah, I don't think they invited him. But not only me personally, I think Melo did more for us than Amari did. So, you know, it's to me, it was disrespectful. And of course, we weren't going to see Oakley because of what happened with Dolan. But
Well, you know that.
you
right.
know, so but
It's-
you know, it's just crazy.
But let me ask you this though: how much of that had to do with is Melo? He's not actively a player, but is he still a free agent? So some of
Yeah.
that it could have been that too, because if you look at everyone who was called out, they're all retired, right? So maybe that has
I
something to
don't-
do with it.
I don't think there would have been any tampering charges with Melo coming to the Knicks. So, you know, it to me, I think that, you know, I'm sure that there was probably some legal, you know, something legal, but that they used. But to me, they should have at least invited him to the game or had him say something on the prompter or something.
I think a video would have sufficed. I agree with that part. But was it confirmed that he wasn't invited?
I don't know if it
Well,
was
I'm
confirmed.
not saying it wasn't confirmed, but I think if he was invited, he would have at least been in the stadium.
Because Melo
You know, been at
definitely has a
MSG.
good relationship within the organization. So
Yeah.
I can't see. I can only see them not inviting him because of it either not looking right, like Sim said, or because legally they couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with. I mean, I was surprised too when I seen Stat and not Melo, but then I had to think. Well, you know, he's still he's not an active player, but he's a free agent. You know what I mean?
But they didn't even mention him.
I mean, like Sim said though, all those guys are retired, like officially retired.
No, that's true. But like I said, it's good. I'm glad to see that the team is coming together stronger and stronger. And you know, Hart was a great acquisition for us, and it's going to be good. I see us at least going to the second round. So
I hope so, man.
You know,
I hope so. You know, we're gonna stand a much better chance in the second round if we can get that 5th or even 4th seed in the Eastern Conference.
And if we're playing Brooklyn or we're playing Miami or something, we have a good chance.
Oh, I mean, if we're playing Brooklyn, we definitely have a good chance, right? You know, I mean, I think Brooklyn is probably going to listen. You know, when all the trades first went down, and I seen the group of players they had, I was like, you know, maybe they can play 500 or just below 500 and maintain, you know, that top 6. You know, because they already had such a head start. You know what I mean? But after last night's loss, now I don't know.
Yeah, they might not even be in the playoffs. But you know, I feel that if we wind up playing Miami, even Indiana or somebody, you know, we have a good chance.
Well, I agree.
If we get the
I agree with
5th
that.
seed, I think that's gonna be the best.
Yeah. See, I think if the Knicks are anywhere from the 4 to 6 seed, they won't be playing the Miamis or the Indianas or any of them, they're playing, anywhere. If the Knicks are anywhere between the 4th and the 6th seed, they're going to be playing a team that's one. If they're the 4th seed, they're going to play the 5th seed. If they're the 5th seed, they're going to play the 4th seed. If they're the 6th seed, they're going to play the 3rd seed. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, fourth or 5th seed is ideal, because I think that will be a formidable matchup. You know what I mean? 6th seed, yeah, we guaranteed in the playoffs, but we're gonna have to face one of those monsters up top.
Yeah,
with top 3. Yeah,
right. And so if we want to move on, you know what I mean, we need to be in that 4th or 5th seed. You know what I'm saying?
But I also feel like we got a chance against 2 out of those top 3.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. We have a chance, but it's definitely going to be tougher. Be a whole lot tougher.
Yeah, we'll be limited, especially when you're talking about Milwaukee. Our chances are better against like Philly, but when it comes to Boston and Milwaukee, we'll be limited.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've split with Boston so far this season, and we beat Boston with them being healthy. We beat Philadelphia with Philadelphia being healthy. I mean, we haven't beat the Bucks yet this season. We beat Cleveland. I mean, we've beaten everybody in this top 6, except for Milwaukee.
I think the games we played against Milwaukee, they were all pretty close. But again, in the beginning of the season, they didn't have Chris Middleton either, and so
right. So we'll see where they end up, man. I appreciate your time. What was it, D?
Appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's Dan down in North Carolina.
All right, have a good one.
Peace, fam.
Yeah, that top, that the top half of the top 6 in the Eastern Conference is tough, without a doubt. Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. But honestly, I think the Knicks would have a chance against Boston and Philadelphia. I think they can battle those 2 teams. I always like the matchup against Boston. You know what I mean? I think the Knicks can battle those teams. Milwaukee's tough. Milwaukee's really tough. Cleveland, I think the Knicks can beat Cleveland in the playoffs if they play them. I think the Knicks can beat them. They're a tough team, no doubt about it. 38-25 right now on the season. But I think that's a team the Knicks can get. You know what I mean? The Knicks are currently on a 5-game win streak, ladies and gentlemen. That's the 2nd longest winning streak in the NBA right now. The longest is the Milwaukee Bucks. They have a 13-game winning streak going on right now. The Knicks are 8-2 in the last 10. They're currently 17-15 on the road. So now they're 2 games above 500 at home. I'm sorry, 17-15 at home. 2 games above 500. They're 18-12 on the road. 6 games above 500.
Second best road record in the NBA.
Yeah, man. The Knicks they're making some noise. They're making some noise. And on Monday, right? Right, so Monday, they play the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
And here is where they can really make a statement. Forget just noise. They can make a statement against the Boston Celtics.
Put the Eastern Conference on notice. You know what I mean?
Tony, how big is that game?
This is the one right here. This is the one. If we could beat the Celtics, we gonna get 50 wins. If we beat the Celtics this game, not if we can't, because we can beat the Celtics. If we beat the Celtics Monday, we getting 50 wins. Because I think that's the game that solidifies the mentality that I feel like this team has reached. You know what I mean? They believe in themselves already. I wholeheartedly believe it, that they feel like they could beat anybody. But to go out there and prove it against, a top formidable opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's Eastern Conference champs. You know what I mean? that's gonna be a big confidence booster and something that just solidifies that mentality that, you know what? Nah, we thought we was here 2 years ago, but we we really here now. You know
Right.
what I mean?
I mean, listen, we beat Boston last time we played them, right? What was the score of that game? The last time we played Boston. It wasn't that long ago. The last time we played them. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That was the game Brown missed the free throws, right?
Yep. That was the game they missed the free.
So it
Brown
was
missed the
close.
free throws. That was on January 26th, I believe it was. The Knicks won the game 120 to 117 in overtime. In Boston. All right. In this game, let me see. In that game, Randall had 37 points, 9 rebounds. Brunson had 29 points, 7 assists. RJ Barrett had 19 points, 4 rebounds. He didn't shoot the ball that well, but he had those numbers. Emmanuel quickly had 17 points. Josh Hart did not play. All right, so now you're talking about Mitchell Robinson coming back. Josh Hart is now playing. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks lineup should be stronger. And we'll see if this mix of players can compete with the Boston Celtics. Now, I think for the Celtics, Marcus Smart did not play that game. All right?
That is correct.
And that's a big loss. You know what I'm saying? Because he's their defensive, he's their defensive guy. He's that defensive glue that they need. But this is going to be a big game for the Knicks. You know what I mean? It's a big one. And if you can beat the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, I agree with you. Their confidence is going to be sky high, and they might be marching on to do some things. Man, and it's at the Garden, so it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy game. Let me get your phone call real quick. Then I want to listen into some of the players in their post-game interview. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What's going on, Simmons? Walter White from Atlanta.
Walter, what's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
I feel good, man. Good Knicks win. I feel good.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I feel great. You know what I mean? Because the Knicks they're just playing good basketball. What's your thoughts about this game on Monday versus the Celtics?
Oh, man, it's a winnable game. It's not. I seen Randall grabbing his knee. You asked me, I let Randall get a rest. Coming back, and we already know we can beat him. So let everybody else try to operate. And this is a game that we really don't need. This is one of the games I picked us to lose, and still got us winning 49 games. You know what I mean? So, I came in. Oh, pardon me. Shout out to you, Sim. Shout out to Tony Crow. Shout out to the chat. Do me a favor, hit that button on your way out. #MDKFans.
What's up?
Yeah, man. I heard y'all on League Pass, man. I was watching League Pass for the Washington game last night.
Uh-huh.
I heard y'all on it after the game was over and it was emptying out. You could still hear. You see little sprinklers of Knicks fan orange and blue in the crowd. You could still hear y'all in there turned up, and I'll be through, man.
Yo, man,
I'll be through. I'm gonna pull up.
We was getting it in last night, man. I'm telling you, it was Knicks fans everywhere. We was, when you walked outside of Capital One Arena, Knicks fans controlled everything. Nothing Wizards fans could do about it. Man. Nothing they could do about it. Nothing they could do about it. You know what I mean? We taking over DC, and we're gonna spread it out to other cities too. Boston, Philly, they better watch out.
Atlanta, I'm down here, so y'all gotta come holler at us down here and do that same thing. And the Knicks put on that same performance.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. We
a few
got plans
little
for
things
it.
I wanted to hit on before I get about it. Oh, sorry.
Now go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, IQ, man, he's turned into that dude, man. I can't front on him. His defense against last night against Wizards, he's playing defense with his hands, but They wasn't calling foul. And that's like, who can do that? Everybody can't do that. Tiz and the front office, not too much on them, man. Like, if the front office work with Tiz better and give him the players, he can coach a winner. Rose probably just sit there like, man, listen, I believe in Tiz. I think he could win the chip, and I'll sit on the bench for the minimum. He could do that. I hope nobody else get hurt trying to guard Julius Randle. This is the third game in a row. Why tonight I wasn't sure because I was working. Somebody got hurt. The against Atlanta before the All-Star break, Collins broke his nose.
Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Last night, my man was on the floor crying, and KP was hobbled. And in the second half of last night, he wasn't the same player. Our old player. You know what I mean? And I hacked Hackenstein. He has to play. That's my only knock on him. Play defense without fouling, yo. Like, wow, man. And I ain't gonna do too much. You know what I mean? Just wanted to shout y'all out, and I'm always here listening, man. It's a great New York. Clyde Frazier said tonight, New York fans are the greatest fans. And how do he know? Because he listening. They listening, y'all. Exactly. They know who hating. They know who trying to get them constructive criticism. They know who love them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us here love the Knicks. They listening. You know what I mean? Yeah. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Keep growing. Keep striving. Keep moving.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time.
No doubt, man. I'm gone.
And we definitely gonna hit ATL. That's no doubt about it, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna hit ATL, Charlotte, Miami. We trying to hit them all. Let's listen into. Oh, I did want to say though, Julius Randle is violent the way he goes to the basket. So, yeah, I mean he goes to the basket sometimes with reckless abandon. You gotta be careful with that dude. You know what I mean? So, let's listen into Julius Randle right now in his post-game press conference. All right. Julius Randle, Manuel quickly, RJ Barrett. Let's go.
I think I saw in the last couple minutes see Thibodeau smile.
Yeah, really?
I thought so.
It's a good day now.
Just kind of, for you guys to come off it back-to-back and do what you did end-to-end.
Yeah, we knew we had this challenge coming off the break. We knew that, before we went to break. So I think mentally we were prepared for it, and it was good.
How important was it to get off to that fast start, and any irony in the fact that you guys had 73 points at the half on the night the 73 team was being honored?
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But, especially at home, you want to get off to good starts. And we did that today and sustained it.
Shot, your three-point shot, obviously it's been there for most of the season, but last couple of games coming out of the break, anything different for you? Anything feel different?
It feels good. And keep shooting it, so.
How do you decide who takes the technical in that fourth quarter to let you and Quick were having some fun?
No, I was messing with him. Typically I would tell him to get out the way. No, I'm messing with you. Well, it just depends. It's all situational.
And did he pay you back by giving you the
lob?
The lob?
Yeah, he did. He did. Appreciate that.
I saw you joining the crowd with the Derrick Rose chants.
Right.
What was that moment like?
It's great, man. D Rose, that's a legend. It's a legend, and he's not playing. Obviously, he still got some juice, and he can still play. But that's not his role on this team. But I would argue that he's having just as much, if not more, of an impact vocally as a leader for us. He's constantly talking to me, giving me advice. So his impact is huge. So I love to see him out there on the floor.
Emmanuel, let's not bury the lead and talk about the off the backboard pass to Julius. Yep. You gave up an assist there, right?
What you mean?
Yeah, because it hit the backboard first.
Well, we'll have to call the league and, get that sorted. Nah, I didn't know that. I thought that was an assist.
So tell me about that, though. We saw you peeking behind you.
Yeah, I was going, a little two-hand flush, but he said throw it off the backboard, so I had no choice but to, give him his 2 points.
It was a pretty epic reaction from this crowd, but I think it speaks to the chemistry, Emmanuel, that's in this locker room right now. You guys have won 7 of the last 8. Obviously, a lot of things going right, but what are a couple of the things that you would pinpoint?
I think really just the chemistry outside of, when we're playing basketball, on the plane, practice, hotel, anywhere we're at, really. I think, we're just really tied together and it's bleeding onto the court. So, we have a lot of chemistry in this locker room.
Offensively, on a back-to-back, to go out and outscore a team 42-26 in the first quarter, I mean, what does it take to do that and then follow it up with 73 points at the half?
Yeah, it didn't really feel like a back-to-back, honestly. I feel like, we were pushing the ball, getting out and running. Defense was tied together. So it didn't feel like a back-to-back. I felt like everybody was playing together, sharing the ball, getting easy baskets. So we just got to continue to do that.
There was definitely a pop and an energy in the building, not only with the way you guys were playing, but also some of the greatest Knicks of all time were being honored tonight. I mean, what was it like to be able to play in front of the guys who are the legends that have established themselves before you?
It was great, just to see the winning culture that's been here. We just want to continue to try to do that as well. To see the great individual players that have been all-stars and just all the greatness that was in that room and on the court. You just try to follow in their footsteps and continue to be great with them.
Thanks, Quinn.
Appreciate it.
RJ, what did it mean to have the 73 team here tonight?
Man, it was great just to see them here and just even see all the videos up on the jumbotron and stuff. Just the energy that was in there tonight was amazing. They're legends. It's very inspirational, just the way that, especially the way they were able to win the championship. Bring championship back to New York. That's something that we're trying to do. So it was great to have that in the building tonight.
Did you realize you guys scored 73 points at the half to sort of honor?
I heard, that was. It obviously wasn't planned, but hey, it worked.
The season high 7 assists. Where did that kind of unfold from, and what allowed you to kind of reach that mark from your perspective?
I think I just started out aggressive. And just made the right plays. And honestly, guys made shots. So it was just a combination of everything. And we clicked really well as a team today.
RJ, the part of the history of that 73 team was like their unselfishness and that sacrifice and all that stuff. Is that stuff that you guys are consciously trying to do, having to do, some guys playing less minutes, different things like that?
It's a team, so on any given night it's going to be different. But I think especially today in particular, we did a great job just, sharing the ball. Everybody kind of, had a great game. So that was, that was really good.
Are you guys at the point where you're looking at the standings?
I think you look at the standings all the time. Okay.
Is it different when it gets this close to the end of the season?
You're competing, man. You're competing. So you always want to know who's who, where, what's what. So yeah.
How do you feel where you're at right now?
I think we're okay. We're in a solid spot right now. Of course, aspiring for more. So, but really just trying to go in and do the little things every day to be prepared for every game, and I think the rest will take care of itself.
What was it like for Derek to the crowd to give him the love that they showed him and for him to get in the game?
He deserves it. It's D Rose, man. He's incredible. Just especially for me, as a kid growing up, I was like 8, 9 when he came into the league, and just as a basketball fan, seeing all the amazing things that he was able to do, just to be around a guy like that, every day is special.
Julius was talking about how supportive Derek's been. What has he been doing?
He's been super supportive since day one, since the first day he got here. Just great teammate, great guy to be around overall. Very humble, and he's always trying to help us out. So you definitely appreciate having a guy like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was R.J. Barrett, and a lot of praise is reaped on the legends that were in the building. Derrick Rose. Just a good feel-good night for the New York Knicks all the way around, ladies and gentlemen, all the way around. Just a good night for the Knicks. You know what I mean? And they gotta feel good. They're like RJ said, they're in a good space and a good place, heading right now in the playoff picture, in the playoff situation, in a really nice spot. They can aspire to do more. They should aspire to do more. They have The Brooklyn Nets above them, just a half a game above them. They could possibly drop and are probably going to be dropping. You know what I mean? So the Knicks sitting in a really nice spot. And, I do want to ask this, though. Maybe somebody knows. I don't know. If that doesn't count as an assist for Emmanuel Quickly, does it count as a missed shot?
That's a good point.
And
That's
a rebound and putback for Julius Randle.
That's a good question.
Right? Because it's got to count for something. If it's not an assist, it's got to count for something. So I would think it probably counts as a missed shot.
Talk about sacrifice.
Right.
Sacrifice the assist and the shooting percentage.
Right. When did it happen? Was that in the third quarter?
I believe so. It's definitely second half.
It was right. I
think it was I don't know if it was the third or fourth. It was either early in the fourth or late in the third, though.
I'm pretty positive it was the third quarter. I just want to look at the play-by-play and see what they counted as. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say I'd be mad. That's definitely a sacrifice, right? You know what I mean? you sacrifice your
percentage and the assist.
Percentage and the assist. Right? Let me see. So that would have been a Julius Randle dunk. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. But either way, they need to change that in the NBA. You know what I mean? They need to change that. The NBA should be able to recognize, the stat keepers should be able to recognize that that's an assist. I don't know why it doesn't count. It doesn't count as an assist. But anyway, man. Good night for the Knicks. Monday night, they play the Boston Celtics. I think that's a really, really big basketball game right there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping the Knicks get that win. I don't know what's going to happen if the Knicks get the win, how Knicks fans are going to react. People are going to be crazy, over the moon. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really, really looking forward to that game on Monday so we can, just kind of really get a sense of where the Knicks are. Even if they don't win the game, but it's a tight one, you get a sense of where the Knicks are right now, I think. You know what I'm saying? He says 6:37. I'll check it out. You get a sense of where the Knicks are in that game on Monday. You know what I mean? And then after Monday, they take on the Nets. So they'll have a chance right there. If the Knicks can beat the Celtics, even if they beat the Celtics, right, they'll have a chance on Wednesday to tie or take fifth place. They may have a chance to on Wednesday if they beat the Celtics on Monday. Let's see.
I mean, technically, I don't know if the Nets play in between, but we're a half game. If we beat the Celtics, we even with them. And then if we beat the Nets, that would put us a game above, depending on how many games they have.
So the Nets play the Hawks tomorrow at 3.
So we could get it there. We could tie them there.
So it could be a tie there, right? They may still have the tiebreaker over us as far as games won in the series. So they may still be in the 5th seed, right? So let's say the Nets lose, they'll be 34-26. The Knicks right now 35-27, so they would probably still have percentage points over us, right? But then if the Knicks beat the Celtics, the Knicks would be a half game above them on Monday because the Nets do not play on Monday. So the Knicks would be a half game above them if the Knicks beat the Celtics. And then the Nets and the Knicks would play on Wednesday, right? And the Nets also play the Bucks on Tuesday. So there's a chance if the Knicks beat the Celtics. So let's talk about this. Let's say the Knicks beat the Celtics on Monday. The Nets lose to the Hawks and they lose to the Bucks, right? The Knicks at that point The Knicks
Wait,
would be
what'd you say the Nets record is right now?
right now. The Nets are 34-25.
Okay.
Right. So if they lose to the Hawks, they'll be 34-26. There may be some percentage points above the Knicks. Right. And then the Knicks on Monday would play the Celtics. Let's say the Knicks win. The Knicks would be a half game above the Nets then. And then the Nets would play the Bucks. I'm assuming the Bucks win. The Knicks would be a full game above the Nets. And then if the Knicks beat the Nets on Wednesday, the Knicks would be 2 games above the Brooklyn Nets. So it's possible by Wednesday night or by Thursday morning, the Knicks are 2 games above the Nets. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's say the Nets lose to the Hawks. Then
lose to the Bucks, but we lose to the Celtics.
Lose to the Celtics. So if the Nets lose to the Hawks, again, they'd be probably percentage points above the Knicks. Then if the Knicks lose to the Celtics, the Knicks would be a half game below the Nets. And then if the Nets lose to the Bucks, they'd be tied.
And then a game over if we win.
And then if the Knicks beat the Nets on Wednesday, the Knicks would be a game over.
So we could potentially be a game over or 2 games over if the Nets lose out. And then we could either be 1 game or 2 games.
1 game
over.
or 2 games. Now, of course, if the Nets win, you know what I'm saying, then it's a different scenario. But it is possible. It is possible that by Wednesday or Thursday morning, the Knicks are in the 5th seed and 2 games above the Nets. It's possible. See how things go. And not only would they be, all things going well and everything being perfect for the Knicks, not only would they be 2 games above the Nets, but they would be 10 games above 500. If they beat the Celtics and then beat the Nets, they'd be 10 games above 500.
And potentially closer to that 4th seed.
So let's see. Let's see if it works out.
Monday might be the one, Sim. That might be the one.
That's a super duper key game.
Playoff intensity.
Yeah, that's
playoff
a key game,
atmosphere.
man.
That's at the Garden?
It's at the Garden. It's at Madison Square Garden.
I don't know.
It's
I
gonna
might
be
have
crazy.
to. I might have to see if I want to. If the weather clear up, I might have to drive down.
I would love to, man, but I got a playoff game on Tuesday, so I ain't gonna be able to make it. But I'll be watching it. As far as that Emmanuel Quickly, Julius Randle dunk, all they have is a Quickly steal and then a Randle dunk. That's it. They don't say anything about whether or not it's an assist or a missed shot or whatever.
That sound like hating. They like, nah, we gonna just, you trying to be too flashy. We ain't giving you no extra attributes.
Right. Okay said, I'd rather us lose to the Celtics than win the next 5. I would not rather lose to the Celtics. The Knicks need to beat the Celtics so that, right now the series is tied 1-1. Like, this is an Atlantic Division game, right? So when we're talking about seeding and all of that stuff, you need as many tiebreakers as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get this win. Not only do you beat the Celtics in a statement game for the Knicks, but you take the series lead by 1. You're up 2-1. You get another win in the Atlantic Division because that's one area the Knicks aren't doing well. They're 5-8 in the Atlantic Division.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they need to start winning these games in the Atlantic Division as well. You know what I mean? So I think this is a big game for the Knicks. And no, they're never going to be battling the Celtics for first place. Not this season. They're not going to be battling the Celtics for first place.
We might meet them in the Eastern Conference Finals or semis.
You know, but like when you're talking about the Atlantic Division records and tiebreakers and stuff like that, you know, you need it. You need it. You know what I mean? I want the Knicks to win that game and then win the next 5. You know what I mean? Because the next 5 after the Celtics are the Nets, the Heat, the Celtics again, the Hornets, the Kings. You know what I mean? So, you know, out of these 2 Celtics games, you figure they're probably going to split. Or they might split. I want to get the first one. That way we have the season. That way at least we have the lead in the series. You know what I mean? And the worst we can do is tie the season series. You know? So, you know what I mean? I want to get that win. I want to get that win. Hit him up. Says, let's go get OG Anunoby and Zach LaVine to pair with JB and Randall. I can tell you right now, you're not getting both of them. Ain't no way. Zach LaVine is making
too much money.
Too much money for you to get both of those guys. You know what I mean? Sherman said, I think Randall gets a rebound for that play and IQ gets a missed shot. It seems like that's what could happen. You know what I mean? You know, based on the fact that IQ does not get a steal. I mean, I'm sorry, that IQ doesn't get an assist. It looks like that's probably what happens. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate your time. Great
Knicks
weekend. Yeah. Nice week for the Knicks, man. Nice week for the Knicks. Julius Randle moving his way up the MVP ladder. He's never going to get into that top 5. I don't think so. It's going to be hard. You know, the people in the top 5 they're playing incredible basketball. Randle's playing incredible basketball, but I think he's going to have a chance to be All-NBA again this year.
Yeah. And the only way I think for one, we would probably have to go undefeated, and then he would have to dominate those matchups the rest of the way.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Embiid, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. He said, in context, I just said that because I don't want the bing bong stuff again. Oh. Yeah, I don't want that again either. I ain't going to front. I don't want that again. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time. Going to get up out of here. Have a great rest of your weekend. And yeah, I'll probably be on sometime tomorrow anyway. But great rest of your weekend. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.